The United Nations has waded into the long-running debate over whether marijuana is a soft drug. It's not, says the UN. In fact, cannabis use has turned into a major pandemic, which is causing as much harm as cocaine and heroin. The UN report also takes a swipe at countries that have liberalised their drug policies. Doctors agree that marijuana is a problem, but drug researchers in Australia say the report misses the point. Michael Edwards has this report.
Justin Brash knows his dope. He's been smoking up to a gram a day for the past 20 years. He's HIV positive and uses it for medicinal purposes.
Predominantly, the cannabis available in Sydney is hydroponic, so unfortunately I have to source hydroponic. My preference would be for bush.
He doesn't claim to have scientific expertise on the strength of marijuana, but he says he's in a good position to judge what's available on the street.
The difference these days is strong cannabis is consistently available.
It's the stronger stuff that's worrying the United Nations. In a recent report, it says worldwide opium production is down and the cocaine market has stabilised. The UN says the biggest drug threat the world now faces comes from marijuana, with 1 in every 25 adults across the globe using it. It says the threat has been heightened by marijuana grown with the use of hydroponic equipment, which produces more potent strains. Dr Chung Soo Yong from the Australian Medical Association agrees with the warnings. He ranks the drug as an equal threat to others, such as heroin and cocaine.
I think because of the wide reach of the number of people using it, it certainly probably is more significant than those drugs. It may certainly pose more of a concern.
The AMA lists mental health problems and cancer as the key problems caused by using the drug. Steve Alsop is from the Drug Research Institute. He doesn't downplay marijuana's health effects, but doesn't think much is to be gained by comparing it with other drugs.
It's called comfort to a parent or a friend when you start looking at the harm. What is clear is that there are substantial harms that arise from cannabis. We should certainly ensure that the community is aware of those harms.
He says the UN is also off the mark, warning about potency.
What's particularly of concern is the frequency with which people use cannabis and the age at which they start using cannabis. It's very clear that the risk increases substantially for people who are regular users, and the risk increases substantially for those people who start at an early age.
The UN report also takes a veiled swipe at countries that have or are in the process of decriminalising marijuana. Many states in Australia have decriminalised the possession of small amounts of the drug, but there's still a strong debate that this could be the wrong approach. Paul Dillon from the National Drug and Alcohol Research Centre warns knee-jerk law and order responses won't necessarily work.
What we have to be very careful of is criminalising those young people. That's why we actually have the system, the cautioning system that many states have implemented over the last few years, and that's proven very successful. I think to get tougher does not necessarily solve the problem.
Paul Dillon from the National Drug and Alcohol Research Centre with Michael Edwards.